November 2007 was a wonderful time to be alive. The first iPhone had been released, J.K. Rowling finished the final Harry Potter novel, and perhaps most exciting, Shrek the Third was screened in cinemas across the world. However, this month was not particularly fun for Australian business owner Richard Pratt, or his Australian paper, packaging and recycling company, Visy, who were facing repercussions for taking part in what was considered the most serious cartel case to come before the Federal Court of Australia, since price fixing was prohibited. But what exactly did Visy do wrong? How was it punished? And finally, what caused Visy's house of cardboard to come tumbling down? Before getting started, we need to lay the groundwork and understand what a cartel is and why it can be damaging. You probably already have some form of idea of what a cartel is from Narcos. However, here we are dealing with cases which, whilst being heinous in their own way, do not involve horses' heads being left on doorsteps or turtle bombs.
Hey! Welcome to...
According to the ACCC, Australia's competition regulator, a cartel exists when businesses agree to act together, instead of competing with each other to increase their profits. Indeed, there are 4 commonly accepted forms of cartel conduct: price fixing, sharing markets, rigging bids, and controlling output. Let's run through each with an example of cat food retailers. Firstly, price fixing is when competitors agree on a pricing structure rather than competing against each other. For example, colluding cat food retailers may agree to both charge $10. Secondly, sharing markets is when competitors agree to divide a market so participants are sheltered from competition. For example, colluding cat food retailers may agree to maintain 50% market share each. Thirdly, rigging bids or bid rigging is when suppliers communicate before lodging their bids and agree amongst themselves who will win and at what price. For example, say the cat food retailers are purchasing fish from a fish farm which holds auctions for its fish. The retailers could agree that in the first auction, one retailer will win and pay $1. Finally, controlling the output is literally limiting or controlling output. Here, the colluding cat food retailers may agree to only sell 5 units each. Because cartels can screw over consumers and non-cartel businesses and restrict healthy economic growth for a range of reasons, countries implement policy which punishes cartels that are discovered, for example, through civil and criminal sanctions. In the case of Visy, the government hadn't yet introduced criminal sanctions, and so punishment was restricted to civil sanctions, i.e. monetary payments.
Give me your fucking money!
Now, because it's not exactly easy to find out that a cartel exists. For example, a cartel may communicate in secret via newspaper advertisements. Competition agencies often implement leniency programs which encourage one of the colluding parties to rat on the others. One such policy is to grant immunity to the company which rats on the other members of the cartel, much like is done in criminal cases. Indeed, this very policy brought down Visy's cartel when its co-conspirator, Amcor, which offers similar services to Visy, opted for leniency and dobbed it in. This happened when, in unrelated litigation, Amcor had sued former executives and obtained a court order for a search of their premises. Incriminating material, including tape recordings of conversations, was discovered and, on the solicitor's advice, Amcor approached the Commission. Amcor revealed to the Commission that it had colluded with Visy to implement price increases and share the market for corrugated fiberboard packaging, or CFP, otherwise known as corrugated cardboard. You probably remember this cardboard from a range of places. It is often used for the transportation of goods, including glassware, ceramics and foodstuff, for storage and for kids' art class. From 2000 to 2004, the value of the corrugated cardboard market was between $1.8 and $2 billion per annum. Large customers would have had annual purchases of around $20 million or more from Visy or Amcor. Further, there were thousands of non-contract customers who contributed approximately $212 million per annum in gross sales and constituted around 30% of Visy's customer value. Indeed, 90% of the market was controlled by Visy or Amcor. So Amcor revealed that it had been colluding with Visy between 2000 and 2004. The cartel had been architected by then Visy CEO Harry Debney following aggressive competition between the firms prior to and in early 2000. Debney had deputised then Visy General Manager Rod Carroll to look after the day-to-day running of the deal, and Rod met with senior Amcor executives up to 40 times between July 2000 and November 2004, making arrangements for specially purchased prepaid mobile phones and meeting in parks and suburban hotels. Rumour has it that they also brought ropes and a whip to these meetings. In short, the agreement involved 2 components. Firstly, there was an agreement to share the market whereby a firm would avoid stealing the other's customers, and if it did, they would compensate the other by giving them one or multiple of theirs. To To achieve this, the firm that was the designated loser would fail to provide an attractive cardboard packaging offer, if an offer was made at all. One such example is that in mid-2001, after Visy stole Amcor's customers, Inghams, and the Smith's Snack Food Company, Visy agreed to allow Amcor to contract George Weston Foods. Secondly, there were frequent agreements to increase prices faced by non-contracted customers. This would have probably gone a little like this.
Do you want to
Increase prices?
Okay.
The Federal Court of Australia found that Visy was guilty of 69 contraventions of the Trade Practices Act. Indeed, the judge remarked that every day, every man, woman and child in Australia would use or consume something that at some stage had been transported in a cardboard box. The cartel in this case therefore had the potential for the widest possible effect. Because of this, the court agreed to charge Visy $36 million. This fine was largely borne by Pratt, who owned Visy. Additionally, Pratt's right-hand man, Debney, was fined $1.5 million and former general manager Carroll was fined $500,000. But that's not all. In March 2011, a class action was resolved in which those affected sued Visy and Amcor.
An in-principle agreement on damages has been reached between the cardboard box giants Amcor and Visy and the customers suing them for price fixing. Litigation in the $700 million class action was due to begin this morning at federal court. But after a series of adjournments, it emerged that the lawyers for the thousands of businesses who bought packaging from them at cartel prices had agreed a settlement.
There was a settlement sum of $95 million plus all costs, of which Amcor was required to pay 2/3 and Visy 1/3. So in the end, Amcor, which ratted on Visy, also faced punishment for its actions. Hopefully both parties learn that their actions have consequences, and surely they'll never do something like this ever again. So that's that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It's the only way that I know whether I should make more of this style content. Thanks for watching.
I know the squealers when I see them.